Sunday, we started this hour-long video we're going to break down into 3 parts about Eugenia Cooney. After she had sought out some help, where we left off yesterday, Shane here went and saw something in his description that was interesting. Anyway, it's completely unrelated. Anyways, Shane had reached out to Eugenia. She'd reached out to him at some point, saying that she was going to go and get some help. He had communicated with her about it because they know each other apparently, and she wanted him to be the person that she talked to about it. She trusts him, which makes sense, right? So he's trying to go about doing this the right way, and we stopped Sunday when he gets to her house for the first time after setting this whole thing up. And mind you, this was in 2020, I guess, is when this was posted. I want to say they did this in 2019. I want to say they said 2019 is when this was done, but the video went up 3 years ago, it says. So that would have been 2020. The thing is, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, dealing with an issue like this, like an eating disorder, it's a mental issue as well. Same as any addiction issue, it is a mental issue, and when you are seeking help, people are bound to relapse, right? It's not something to hate them for or cast shade on them for. All you can do is support them going through what they're going through, be there for them, and try to encourage them to get back up, and keep trying to fight it when they're ready. If you have to distance yourself in the meantime because of their addiction and the way that they are with their addiction, that's a different problem. And some people, that's exactly what happens. But relapses take place, they happen. It's not something to hate somebody for having a flaw. So let's start this back up. Gotta make it scenes, get out of her way.
Hi! Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you! How are you? Oh, thank you. Your shirt looks so cool.
Shane, nice to meet you, Shane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep, this is our house.
This is crazy.
Oh, thanks, I guess.
I've never seen this. Have you not shown this in videos?
I actually haven't really. I don't think. Did I ever? I might have showed it like once, but.
This is like, I feel like I'm in Disney.
That's really cool.
That's kind of why.
I like that little entryway. That little like gazebo-like entryway. That's cool. That's awesome, like architectural design. I like it.
I liked it because like I like Disney a lot, so.
Whoa. Shane, let me take off this filter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm Andrew, by the way.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
How long have you lived here? This is,
So.
how have you not, do you just not care to show it, or you don't really want to do it?
I guess like, sometimes like when I have like.
Like, as a side note, I'm just going to point out, like, all that light coming through the window and whiting out the window and what's beyond it is a good thing. As annoying as it is to have that much bright light, it's a good thing. It helps prevent getting doxxed inadvertently. And so, you know, good thing.
Like family around and stuff, it's like my brother doesn't really like to see videos, so sometimes I'm like, just give him some space. Yeah.
Also, she looks way healthier in her face than she did before at this point.
Yeah, I guess just kind of give him a little bit of privacy sometimes. But yeah, so
Like, way healthier in her face.
yeah, yeah. So it's
Is the pink bedroom, is that here?
that is here actually. Yeah, it's downstairs.
Oh my god, can I see it?
Yeah, of course.
Wait, I want to see
He's all excited about this pink bedroom.
Yeah, of course.
That's so crazy that I'm already here.
Oh, wait, that actually is you.
Oh, no. Can't believe you have a mural of me.
Oh yes. Yeah, this bathroom. This is kind
He just points out the big fat marshmallow man. Look, it's me. I'm already here. You put me on your wall. Good job. Thank you.
I came with it, so.
It came like this?
Yeah, it just kind of came like that.
Who did you buy this from?
So like they seemed like the mafia or something. Yeah, I know.
The mafia, like, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look like Italian mafia. That looks like Spanish influence. So like maybe more like cartel. That just, it looks more like Hispanic than Italian to me.
No, it's really weird. It's like a
Well, is this like a mob
It's
movie?
safe. No?
Were people murdered here?
I hope not.
Is this gonna take a turn?
Well, actually, one day we had like a man come to the house, and then I opened the door. I was like, "Hey," I don't know who he was. I was like really confused, and then he thought like the furniture was his somehow, and he thought that he was the owner before, I guess. Sorry, it's really,
See, just like,
it's a really long story.
see if I can get a good frame of it.
No, it is.
Who's in that room? There's like a TV.
Is there? Wait, what? Oh, it's a TV.
Oh.
So we just kind of listened to it. It kind of broke me. Your Twitter account?
Who was listening to it?
See, though, her face just looks more full. Instead of looking like Skeletor face, it looks more full. It looks more healthy. Like, this looks much more attractive than like a gaunt Skeletor looking face, to be honest. Like, just as a personal perspective thing, like when you're starved and you have that gaunt look, it just, someone who appears frail and like they're on the verge of just shattering, it's concerning, and concerning things are not attractive, if that makes sense.
Her mom was here.
Where she went, but
Her mom just ghosted on him.
Your whole house is like a crazy, like dollhouse, like movie.
oh, thank you.
Everything, like, is your mom here?
I don't know where she
Who
is.
lives here? Like, what's your
So
life?
my mom, she'll kind of like come and go, cause we have her place back in Connecticut. So yeah, but yeah, we're really close. So she's here pretty often. Oh, a knife, cool.
Wait, what's your
Oh, a knife, cool. Like, did she know that she had knives in that for the kitchen? I'm legitimately concerned about this because of the last video we watched of hers where she looked completely lost in the kitchen, like she's never spent time in there before.
We have a lot of like Disney pictures. You take really nice, you know?
Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know Shane Dawson. Like, maybe that's Shane Dawson voiced the character or something. I honestly don't know.
big, white, nice?
I think it's just because it's a big fat white thing.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
literally. Hi,
see?
Big Six.
The bathroom is like kind of a mess right now. We've been like away.
I also just don't know shit about Big Six. Nothing.
This is so cute.
Thank
I feel like
you.
I'm on a Disney sitcom
Oh,
or
that's so
something.
nice.
Oh wow.
And then we have the unicorn.
Good game. Good game.
Right above the toilet. No limits. That's what I always
There are limits. Don't poop all over the toilet seat. Also, lift it before you pee, right?
Yeah, so then we have like the bed.
Stupid.
Definitely don't poop from that position. You just wall blast it. Not good.
It was for like Twitch streaming.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, I'm in the room.
You're in the room.
Whoa, this is where you sat and you were just like being so nice to mean people.
Yeah, some people are not really the nicest, but yeah, it's a little
Yeah, that's the internet.
but
In all honesty, that's just the internet.
exactly.
Just get through it.
At least they're nice, you know.
See?
Yeah. So yeah, and they have like stuffed animals and things like that.
Okay, wait, so this is like filming room,
Yes.
hangout room, Twitch.
God damn it.
We're streaming, we're live.
Yep, basically.
Pretending like you know what you're talking about.
Be here.
How are you so nice?
I don't know. I guess I just try to be nice to everyone and.
So like, you know when the people
I think what that is honestly just trying to outwardly appear nice to people, because people being mean to you is what creates the mental disorder that leads to the problem that she's dealt with, whether or not she wants to acknowledge that issue, right? So why would you want to treat people in that way when being treated that way has caused you to do something that's so self-harming and self-damaging, if you recognize that as what it is, right? It would make sense to outwardly be very nice to everybody, although I would assume that people who are dealing with an eating disorder similar to hers, that you're just fucking pissed. Always pissed. Because I, personally, get very angry at little dumb shit if I'm hungry enough. I get hangry as fuck. And I would imagine that if you are starving yourself, you are always pissed at the world and would like to smash it to bits. Which really just means that there's a lot of like mental fortitude in the resolve to be nice to everybody, even when they're being mean to you. Like, that takes an amount of mental fortitude that I don't think that I would have. I think I'd just go off and call people little bitches and go off on them, little twat rockets, you know.
You were just so nice back. I'm pretty nice, but I mean, I would pop off.
Well, I think you're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, hey Kira. Well, you are gorgeous too. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think you'd probably be a little prettier if you weren't dying.
Like, that's a really mean way of saying it, but she does look like she's dying. Like, that's, like, it's a mean way of saying it, but at the same time, it's similar to what I've been saying, right? Like, here, she looks really gaunt, and when you look gaunt, you look frail and like you're gonna just erode into nothing, just shatter into bits, and it's concerning. It looks like you're on the brink of death. And that's just, it's not attractive to look like you're on the brink of death. If there was a nicer way to say that, I'd try to do it. But there just simply isn't. And if anybody who's dealing with this watches this video, I hope you understand that I am not trying to attack anyone who's dealing with this. I'm hoping it comes across as constructive criticism.
Okay, well, it can be, like, really hurtful, I think, sometimes, to, like, make you feel, like, really lonely and stuff, because you just, like, feel like everyone kind of, like, hates you, and I don't know, I mean, I'm alive right now, but thank you for saying I'm gorgeous, I guess. Like, for me, it's kind of hard to imagine, like...
Yeah, like, I think you'd be more attractive if you weren't dying is a really backhanded comment. But if you compare her gaunt face before to this is more attractive. She's still obviously skinny. She's still obviously thin. She's still going to have many of the features of somebody who's dealt with the disorder she's dealt with. At the same time, you can tell that she looks far more healthy. She just looks more full, more capable, less fragile, right?
Being really mean to people. I would just, like, never want to make someone feel like that, so... You're a gorgeous person, so, you know, I think that you're gorgeous no matter what, but... Yeah.
Bye.
Alright, bye! Hey, alright, well, she was nice. I don't know, sometimes I just assume, like, they're, like, behind the screen, maybe they don't really, like, realize that what they're saying to people can actually, like, really be, like, damaging, really hurtful. I just never really want to, like, be mean back and, like, also make them feel bad.
I think part of this internet culture of just being shitty toward people through the internet, whether it's in comments or on a video like that where you're talking to somebody on a screen, is when they're on a screen, you're somewhat conditioned to associate what you're seeing on the screen to being fake, right? Whether, like, if you're watching the news, to some extent you think it's fake because it's on the TV. When you watch a cartoon, when you watch a TV show, if you're watching, like, Arrow or Batman, if you're watching The Flash, if you're watching Supergirl, if you're watching the new whatever on Disney Plus, if you're watching, like, Obi-Wan or The Mandalorian or Ahsoka or anything like that, you know it's fake. If you watch, like, Next Level Chef, right? Because, like, I like watching those shows. So if you're watching, like, Next Level Chef or Blown Glass or Forged in Fire or any of that stuff, even though it's a reality show where these people do have to have the skills to be capable of creating what they're doing, to making that food, to forging that knife, to blowing that glass sculpture of whatever it may be. Like, the thing is, you have to have those skills, you have to have that knowledge, but at the same time, you're being put under artificial constraints. You don't normally have, like in Next Level Chef, you don't normally have 30 seconds to run from a wall around cooking stations to a platform to choose your ingredients that you have no foresight of what is going to be on there so that you can pre-plan anything, and then run back to your cooking station and start putting together the meal that you had no knowledge of beforehand. And then you also have the time constraint of you've got like 30 minutes or 50 minutes, depending on the challenge, right? So the thing is, that's very artificial in the way that it's done. Even though it's reality, it's still fake. So when you're watching things on a screen, even if it's real, even if it's an interaction with another person, subconsciously there's a part of you that I believe is associating it to not being real. And since you don't think it's real subconsciously, you subconsciously assume that you can be as mean as you want because this person isn't real. That's the way that your mind kind of digests the situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, even though they're not always the nicest, but yeah. Oh, thank you.
People on the internet are assholes. Like, it is what it is. I've said this 1,000 times. I feel like I've made that point 1,000 times throughout her videos. People on the internet are assholes. It is what it is. If you don't have thick skin, don't try to do things on the internet. Just don't.
I want to see your other.
Yeah.
So this is like that. So you like him?
I do though. I do like him. Jack.
Jack.
Yeah. You know, he's a really nice.
We can be like Jack and Sally if you want,
Cool guy.
and you can always find
Mean
me.
or bad?
Angry? Like where's your dark
Let me
side?
think.
Yeah, what do you hate?
We'll have Halloween on Christmas,
I mean,
and in the night we'll wish this never ends. We'll wish this never ends.
Okay,
T.
What the fuck?
When's the last time you got mad about something?
The last time I got mad about something.
Like about anything?
About anything?
About any, like right now, like if you like ordered a drink and it was wrong, would you just be like, oh, it's like wrong, but it's really good?
Well, you know, maybe if it's like, if it's still good, but it's different, then I can like give it a chance and be like, oh, you know. But then maybe it's like really bad, or like I don't really drink at all. So maybe if there was like alcohol or something, I'd be like, hey, you know, like maybe you guys might have made a mistake here. Yeah.
That kind of makes me wonder if, like, on top of the eating disorder stuff, if she just has like a self-confidence issue and she's been beaten down so much that she just doesn't stand up for herself, right? It's a common thing where people get beaten down to a point where they don't stand up for themselves, because that's kind of what that reflects, right? Is somebody who just, they don't stand up for themselves when things go wrong.
Oh, I thought of it. But I didn't tell them. I went to an orchestra concert. It was really good.
Okay.
And there was people next to me that like kept talking.
Yeah, what'd you do?
And like I just wanted to like hear the music, and like there's like a big screen.
Should have yelled at them.
All the fans are so into it.
Yeah.
And I was just like kind of hoping they would stop, but
Yeah.
and eventually, actually, the guy in front of us, he seemed like a big fan, so he kind of gave him a look like, you guys like stop talking. And it seemed like they quieted down, so yeah. But I just.
She was mad and still didn't do anything. That's my point. Like, granted, like if you're at an orchestra concert, like she said, you should just shut the fuck up. You really should. It's not a normal concert. Like if you go to I don't know, who's popular, like Miley Cyrus or shit. I just can't think of names because I don't listen to their music. But if you go to like a normal concert, popular people, like Motionless in White or something, right? You're going to be like, people are talking because you're going to hear the music over the people anyways. You basically have to yell at the person next to you, right? So it's a different atmosphere. When you go to a classical concert, you shut the fuck up. Like, it's not the same thing. They're not playing their music through amplifiers and PAs. They're playing their music into an amphitheater, and it's the structure of the building or it's the structure of the earth that helps amplify the music. You actually need to shut the fuck up so that the people who are there for the music can hear the music. If you're not into it, just simply don't go.
That was pretty recently, actually. That was a time. Oh, those people.
Whoa! We were gonna talk about other stuff. Let's really dive back into that.
But they surely were nice people. They were just.
What's that here?
Oh yeah, I can show you guys that too if you want. Yeah, of course.
Have you had any friends or anybody come over and hang out? Because I know there was a lot of people just being like, "Oh, your friends aren't helping, your friends aren't doing anything, whatever." But I'm sure behind the scenes, I'm sure everybody was always reaching out and whatever.
Yeah, there were some people that were. Then there was kind of some people that kind of like really weren't. Really, there was almost like some people that like never really said anything to me like before, but then like later on were kind of like bullying me into like trying to make like decisions for me, and kind of like they were just not wanting to listen to me at all, not really wanting to hear like how I'm feeling. Before they never really seemed to like care much about anything, so I guess that's kind of hard. But then I also have like good people in my life that like genuinely like really did care. All right, that was my dad, guys. So yeah, he's pretty cool. Did you guys see him? Also, PewDiePie actually like made a video where he mentioned me, and he like sent all his fans to like come over and be like really like loving and like supportive. And
I just really want people to send her as much support and love as possible, and I really mean that. I think that's the only thing she needs right now.
Like those kind of.
That's really cool that PewDiePie did that. Because that's exactly what she did need. She needs people that love her and support her to go over and support her and show her love. That way she knows that people care about her, right? Just like we were saying in the first video, you can't just harass and attack people that are dealing with this issue. You can't just tell them things like, just eat and you'll be better. Like, that's the simple way of putting it, but it's not going to fix the problem. The problem's much deeper. It's a mental problem. And the way that they're treated, the things that are said to them, it reflects into how they view themselves, and then they, go about eating too much or too little or whatever it is that their issue is. So it all comes down to how they're treated, and if they're treated with more compassion, over time, your opinion of like, hey, maybe we should go get some food means more. Telling them like, hey, you should just go eat is an asshole thing to do. Being like, hey, we should go out and get some food. Like, I'm hungry. Would you come with me? I don't really want to eat alone. You might get them to go out and just eat some food, right? But they feel like they're being cared about and invited along on something, not like they're being forced into a situation. If they say no, you leave it alone. They don't want to go. It's that simple. But everybody wants to do shitty things. PewDiePie actually just sending people over to be compassionate is excellent.
Messages, I think, were the ones that were like the most helpful. Also, not like attacking me, like trying to like be like, oh, you're like a horrible person, like kill yourself, and those kind of messages, like that kind of stuff. I just kind of feel like kind of puts you in like a worse mindset, at least like for me, where it kind of makes it like harder to want to help yourself. Like some of the videos they do.
I just want you to care enough about your physical vessel to resemble a human and not a bat.
Seemed like really like mean-spirited kind of. They just kind of made me feel like a lot more like lonely, and like I would never wish anything bad towards them, but it definitely makes it kind of hard to like.
Yeah, people are dicks.
People, I think.
Let's go.
Yeah, patio. This was actually a lock for it, I guess, but it's off now. Yeah, that was another thing that like it was weird.
It's very heavy. Oh.
Yeah, there's.
Oh my god.
Just like walks one day and.
Hell yeah. That's a bitchin' lock right there. That's what that is. What that is when the police come and try to knock in your door, or Antifa comes and tries to kick in your door, all of a sudden they ran into a true barrier, a true barricade. Like this right here, this is how they used to lock up castles and shit. Come the fuck through, you're probably somebody who's raiding a castle, and you will be treated as such. Meaning, I might just have to behead you with a sword or an axe or something, and follow up with a pew pew later.
I don't even know, like, I don't know what happened in this house before all of that, but
Well,
and the neighbors kept telling us, they were like, oh, like, watch out, because, like, they get black cars.
Oh no, their cars were black. Your neighbors are fucking ridiculous.
It's really weird. Nothing's happened now. Now everything seems like it's good. Oh, alright. Is there any more locks? Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, what?
Does she not know how to lock her door?
one more down there.
They really protect this house. Oh my gosh. They figured it out better than I did.
She didn't know how to unlock her own door. That's ridiculous. Oh, wait. I wanted to see this, too. See, look. Her, like I was pointing out before, her knees in the other video, and how that's very, like, indicative, right? Because your knees are a bone structure, and your skin is just going to form around it, and it looks terrible. That looks way better. It looks so much better. Like, the road to recovery looks good. Right?
Yeah, then we just have to have a tree.
Relapse looks terrible.
Oh, thank you.
The guy who cut your hair, right?
Yes.
So he took a picture of you.
He did, yeah.
The girl seems like she's actually recovering, which is so.
See, and that looks so good in comparison.
Oh, I really hope this is really her.
I think I texted you.
Yeah,
which I
you were
actually,
so nice about it.
I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No,
but,
no, I appreciated it.
But when you see that, are you like still figuring out who that person is? Because you've looked a certain way for so long, and now you're changing. You know.
I mean, I guess, like, for me, sometimes I do find, like, I can be kind of, like, critical of myself. I look really bad here. This is just
I still disagree with her thinking she looks bad there. I think she looks great there.
one where I'm, like, barely any makeup.
See, like, this is extremely gaunt. It's just, it doesn't look great to look gaunt, in my opinion.
I don't know. I guess I've never really had, like, the highest self-esteem, which, you know, I'm trying to, like, work on and stuff. You know, I think...
And self-esteem, that's that right there. Back to PewDiePie. Having people come by, be compassionate and supportive and loving. That's what she needs. That's how you build self-esteem, is other people show it to you, and then you have it in yourself. Like Cat Williams famously said, it's esteem of your motherfucking self, right? Thing is, he's right. It is. It's esteem of yourself. It's self-esteem. On the flip side of that, you have to also have people there in your moments of weakness that do care about you. That's where compassionate people come in.
I think it is, like, really good, though, that, like, I did make that decision to get myself back to, like, a healthy place and to, like, do what is...
It definitely
what I
is.
should be doing and...
Is that
Like, that actually just, when she looks like this, it's actually creepy, and it's hard for me to not make comments that are not so kind. This looks like a bat lady. It doesn't look like much of a person. It looks like a person who's trying to resemble a bat. This looks like a woman who's been through some shit and is on a road to recovery. And that is far better to see. It's far better to see somebody who's better than somebody who doesn't want to resemble what they are and would rather resemble a completely different creature.
a big adjustment, like, because there's going to be, I'm sure even on this video, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments, oh, she looks so great, and then kind of comparing it to the last time we saw you.
See, that's terrible.
To now, and then are you prepared for that? I guess
it kind of is, like, an adjustment, like, seeing, like, what people will say and, like, seeing those comments and to try to, like, view it as a good thing. That, like, they're trying to, like, you know, make positive comments towards you, and yeah, if that makes sense. Thank you.
I really hope that the positive comments she received going through this hit the way that they should, which is positive. The fact is, like we said before, even a positive comment can come across as, oh, so before I didn't look good. I was ugly then. And then that self-loathing comes in instead of self-esteem. Whereas what I'm trying to say when I say she looks way better now is you've improved upon yourself, right? Improvement, advancement, doing better. That's what we all try to do throughout life in general, is to do better, to become better, to take steps up, not steps down, to move forward, not backward. That's what she looks like in this video. It's like she took a lot of steps forward and steps upward and doing better. And I hope she takes it that way when people saw these things and commented on it. And I hope she reflects on that through relapse, right? Because she looks recently like she has relapsed. At least in the other video we saw that's more recent than this. So, hopefully, if she comes across that video, she comes across these videos and sees, like, no, actually, the fact that you were doing better is great, and I'm sorry that you're not doing better anymore. If I could, I'd help her. But I don't know her, and I'm not going to try to reach out to her as some stranger trying to fix a problem. That's weird. It's creepy, and there's no way that goes the right way. I just hope she has people around her that encourage her to do better in a way that she knows how to digest correctly, as like a, hey, let's do better. Not a, hey, you were worse, but like a, hey, we always want to get better and to do better, so let's move forward and do better instead of continuing taking steps back.
So, I want to talk about the situation.
Yeah.
Where should we do that? Maybe in your room? Where's like
Yeah,
a quiet
wherever.
Let's go look.
Progression is much better than regression, you know?
No, that's totally fine.
Smart decision. That little bit of lines there saying you wanted to figure out what's off limits and triggering before interviewing her, very smart. And once again, her knees. That looks so much better.
I don't want to move all these little guys.
Yeah.
My friend's here.
Like, and being willing to put herself in an uncomfortable situation if it can help somebody else who's dealing with a similar issue. That shows a lot of tenacity, resolve, and, like, great character on her part. Like a caring, self-sacrificing nature to her personality.
Oh, sorry.
No, oh my god. No, it was just the light in the camera.
Oh, okay.
Do you love boating?
Yeah, you can't affect the light. Sorry. You're not a black hole.
I want to hear you tell your story.
Okay.
I've never heard you say, A, that you have or had a problem, and B, what it is. So I think maybe starting off there, if that's not too far.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
That should be okay. So yes, I was like dealing with an eating disorder. As for like, I guess like struggles with things like that. I guess it's something that I've also kind of learned going through it and seeing like other people that were like also there. That even though like a lot of people can be like dealing with eating disorders, that like each person's story and each person's like experience with it can be like really different and really like individual.
And it's very true because it's, like we keep saying, it's a mental issue that you have to tackle as well. And the way everybody digests the things that are being said, the things that are being done, the things that they're going through, it's all very different and very personal to each of us individually. For instance, let's say the bombs started going off right around you. Not far from you at all, like within 100 yards of you. What's your response going to be? Are you going to panic? Are you going to freak out? Are you going to seek shelter? Are you going to start calling 911? Are you going to, like, what are you going to do? Right? You might panic. I'm probably just going to go grab some specific items that I can't name or I don't think I can name maybe. And I'm just going to prepare myself to defend myself from whatever's coming to attack me as best as possible. And that's because of my background. That's because of my experience. That's because of what I've been exposed to. That's because of how I've responded to that exposure and that experience. Not everybody will. Other people who've gone through the same kind of experiences and exposures as I have will respond very differently than me. It's because they've internalized it and gone through it mentally in a very different way than I did. So they're going to react to it very differently than I will. That's why this is very different for people who've gone through the same issues as her that she's talked to, and how some of them have gone through it in a very differently than her, is because of the same thing. They're externally doing the same thing, internally very different.
People often assume that eating disorders only look one way. That's why I think the education could be really cool. You know, there's
Yep.
binge eating disorder where we overeat, we don't do anything to compensate, we just overeat, and that's how we cope. There's bulimia where we binge
Eating your
eat, we
feelings,
can be
right?
underweight or overweight. Everybody's body's different, and there's
Yep.
a lot of others in there too that I won't get into. But I think at the very least, it can be great for her to share her story and how it looked for her.
So, I guess like with me, as for like, I guess like labels with things like that, I guess like the details of that were kind of like privately there, and
But also, like, just keep it from feeling.
Like, and I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose it. I don't know her life. I can't diagnose it. But the way she's acted in that video where her and her mom made the brownies that they called a cake, the way that she was lost around what to do in the kitchen around making that cake, her shock at like, oh, a knife in the kitchen when he grabbed a knife out of the knife block, makes me think it's anorexia. Like, she just doesn't eat, right? She starves herself.
Too much too fast. So she doesn't get defensive or feel attacked.
And it could be very different. It's just, that's my assumption.
Story that's beneficial for everybody.
it was definitely like an eating disorder, but yeah, I guess they didn't really get too labely, but if that makes sense.
You don't have to put a label there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is labeling it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to identify it as best as I can for anybody who watches this who may deal with the same thing. That way you understand, like, she doesn't want to really put a name on it. Maybe you don't either. But if you're dealing with a different kind of eating disorder, you may look at her and go, whatever, it's not my problem. If you're dealing with the same issue, but she won't say a label to it, you may do the same thing, right? Just, oh, whatever. I don't deal with that. It's not my problem. The fact is, the label doesn't really matter. An eating disorder is an eating disorder. So, regardless of what label you put on it, it's still the same thing internally. It's the way you externally handle it that's different.
I'll speak on my experience because I don't want to put words in your mouth. I always knew that I had a disorder. I always was very self-aware, and I was always very like, I know this is bad. I know I shouldn't be doing this. I feel guilty. I feel embarrassed. Like, when I would be throwing up in the bathroom, I mean, I was doing
Okay, so he was bulimic.
and I was like hiding it and trying to whatever. It's a very shameful thing. It took me a long time to even talk about it.
I look in the mirror and I see a huge person.
So,
See, and I don't know his background or history either. So I had no idea that he was bulimic. I knew he had an eating disorder based on some of the statements earlier in the video and the context of things. But I had no idea of what it was. But it was bulimic when he's saying he went in the bathroom and he was puking it up and he felt like that was shameful. That's bulimia, right? It's going and puking up the food you eat.
I think my question for you is like, was it hard, and is it hard right now to like literally really talk about it? Because I feel like even now it's a little bit like, I don't want to push you too far, but you know, I think.
And it's fair for it to be difficult to talk about, because anything that is a mental challenge is difficult to talk about, especially in front of a camera, especially in front of people you don't know, especially in front of groups, and for a lot of people, especially in front of people that care about you. It's easiest to do one-on-one in front of someone who's like a therapist or a psychologist who's trained to do it professionally without any kind of judgment, that you're there specifically to talk to, and that is your entire relationship with them. They're not a friend, they're not family, they're not a significant other or anything like that. They're just strictly someone you talk to about your issue. For a lot of people, that is the easiest person to talk to. And if that's what you need, go get it. By all means. Progress. That's what that results in. Progress.
I don't know. I can't imagine what you went through. Because I feel like you kind of always have a smile. So I'm like trying to like put myself and see what it was, and I feel like it.
See, and I feel like that's a mask.
What was your day-to-day life?
Her smile is the mask. Right? I feel like she's... to put it into context for what we recently streamed, right? Her smiling all the time and stuff, it's basically she's always on joy. She's always wearing the mask from We Happy Few, right? She's always putting on that facade.
Before getting help.
Yeah, and I guess like before, there kind of would be like times where I guess I realized like, hey, like I'm not like eating enough. I really probably should be taking better care of myself. And like I would have people like my mom, especially, and like my family and my parents and everything that would be like, you really should be like taking care of yourself better and like eating more and.
Oh, and there's her grandma, right?
Like would be like bringing that up to me, and obviously the internet, there was a lot of people talking about that. I guess it's like in a way like kind of like maybe even like smoking or something, where like people kind of like know in their brain like, hey, I should stop this, but and then like sometimes I guess you'll kind of go through periods where like you're better about it, but like it's kind of hard I guess to like just like to totally like stop and totally like stop what you're doing and to actually like go and try to like be better and like get help for myself.
When do you remember it started?
I have to point out the irony to this right now. I just can't help it. I just got a notification on my phone from DoorDash. And what I saw was, order something delicious. You're in luck for food today. Oh, fucker. How rude. The audacity.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird with me, I guess, because like even like when I was younger, I really always have been like pretty like naturally like small, I guess.
Yeah, like she looks like she's a naturally thin person. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, like in school, like I dealt with like a lot of bullying and that kind of thing. I think that like definitely like when.
Which, like I said before, the bullying and stuff from other kids, how much of that did she internalize as being like, oh, okay, I guess I'm fat and I shouldn't eat much, and so she just continue down that path.
You have people like not being so nice to you, it can definitely kind of make you feel more insecure and like stick with you kind of. Then I guess kind of like as things were going forward, obviously I was like losing more weight, and I was kind of like not really acknowledging that.
See, watch, like.
Then I guess kind of like as things were going forward, obviously I was like.
There she doesn't look too bad, right? She just looks like she's probably a naturally skinny person who may not be eating enough, may be ignoring certain meals and like hunger times and stuff, but not. She doesn't look bad.
Like losing more weight, and I was kind of like.
That is where you get to the point of concern.
Not really acknowledging that and kind of.
Well, that's when you've surpassed the point of concern, and you've reached the point of like, are you trying to mimic a bat because you're a human? Would you please resemble a human so that we can be less concerned for your safety and your health? So that you can be less concerned for your safety and your health, more importantly, to be quite honest. Because I'm sure somewhere in your head, as somebody who deals with this, when you're that frail, you have to be concerned about your own health and safety to some degree as well, right?
Oh, I'm okay, like whatever, and not really like seeing that it was like a really big problem. And then when I just like started making videos and all of that, and my channel started like growing a bit, then there was like certain people that would like make videos about me and like talk about my body a little bit, it kind of like was really affecting me like really badly and like making me feel really bad and like
Yeah.
not taking care of myself, like really in like a really bad like mind state.
See, and then when people were making those comments about her body being thin, did she internalize it in a way that said, fuck, maybe I'm fat? Like, oh, you're calling me skinny, but I must not be skinny because you're saying it. You're probably being insulting and sarcastic about the way you're doing it, and I'm fat. Because that's how she feels about herself, most likely, right? Is that she's fat. So she's going through an eating disorder where she doesn't eat. Like, or she eats less. So that's the thing. You can be telling her, oh man, you're so skinny, you look like death, you look like the Grim Reaper, or you look like a bat lady or whatever, and the fact is, she's probably internalizing it the other way. I legitimately mean you are resembling a bat, and you should resemble a human, and that's concerning.
I guess it just kind of was like progressing and I wasn't like really doing much to like stop that, and I guess like eventually it just like got to the point where I really realized it would be a good idea to like get some help for that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
getting help.
Right.
So, what was it like? Because we've kind of
Oops.
tiptoed around it, but like,
Right.
I didn't put myself on just chatting today. I just thought about it. That's fine. That just means I don't need to change it later.
you went somewhere. So
I did,
what
yes.
was that?
So yeah, I was in a like rehab kind of program for it, and it was really
That's interesting because I didn't realize that there was like a rehab type thing for eating disorders, right? Like alcohol, narcotics, things of that nature. I'm like, obviously those exist. We know that there's like a sex addict rehab thing because celebrities have openly gone and done that one, right? So like those things I knew about, but I didn't know that there was one for eating disorders. That's really interesting. However, I don't know that those things really help unless you're really on a terrible end of the spectrum and you need like a almost a forceful hand to get you on the right track where you don't really get much choice. And then you leave, but it's on you when you leave. You have to maintain that routine. You have to maintain that mental attitude and thought process of where they get you to where you're healing.
kind of weird experience, I guess, because it's definitely like when you go from like being in like the real world to entering that, like it's so different. They like weigh you and all of that, but they don't really tell you.
That makes sense to do.
Keep that like.
That makes perfect sense because people with an eating disorder knowing how much they weigh it could feed into the problem, but they need to know how much you weigh so that they can monitor your progress or regress, right? They need to be able to monitor what's going on, and that's part of it.
Yeah, like
I'm actually very happy that they're cognizant and knowledgeable enough to be like, yeah, you shouldn't know how much you weigh.
So you don't actually like get. I guess you don't really know like what's going on with that exactly. It can be kind of like boot campy in a way, where like it's very.
That's
like,
kind of how rehab
like,
should
you
be.
wake up at a certain time, then some days they'll kind of like check your vitals and.
Like, and the reason that it should kind of be that way is because people are creatures of habit, and we actually need a schedule to be optimal. And I mean optimal as far as like optimal in your health, optimal in your progress or the way that you do things. You have to be scheduled. It needs to be routine because we are creatures of habit. If you're not doing things on a schedule and on a routine, you're not doing things on a habit, and you're breaking that natural rhythm that humans have.
Maybe do like a blood test some days, just like make sure everything's going all right. Then you'll also kind of have like therapists coming in.
Inpatient is where I worked. I didn't work in the hospital setting. I worked in
And actually, I think we'll stop here.
inpatient is like
Yeah, I think we'll stop here for today with the video, and we'll pick this back up and finish it tomorrow.